And we welcome you inside South Charleston's Little Creek Park as we are continuing coverage of this 2021 Girls State Softball Tournament. This is an elimination game between Washington and John Marshall. Hello, everybody. I'm Maris Lowry, and I'm glad you're with us here on this streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Girls State Softball Tournament here on the NFHS Network and Video Productions as we get ready for this elimination game between these two clubs, between John Marshall and Washington. Now, both teams lost the earlier game, and not only did both teams lose their earlier game, but neither team scored. It was John Marshall getting shut out by St. Albans in the first game early this morning, 3-0, and then Washington lost to Capital Midland 1-0. So these two teams, this is the season on the line for the winner. They will advance to play the loser of the game that will come up next, which will be St. Albans and Capital Midland. And once again, for the loser, their season's over. But so one of these two teams are going to get their first run because neither team, as I mentioned, scored in the earlier game. There is John Marshall. They will take the field, and they'll go through the warm-ups. And we'll come back and get you ready to get this game started as you're watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Softball Tournament on the NFHS Network and Video Productions.
Boy, getting older is pretty stressful. Am I right, girls?
No kidding, Sandy. It seems like every morning I see a new driveway crack.
My deck sure isn't as level as it used to be.
You've got to keep up appearances, though, right?
Mm-hmm. You got that right.
It's time to stop worrying about your concrete problems. Give us a call today and rest easy tonight.
Coach Bob Huggins here at your local Little General store. As I travel this great state, it's nice to know that almost anywhere I go, there's a local Little General nearby. So the next time you're on the road, look for the Little General sign and tell them Hugs sent you.
Community strong. We are Thornhill Ford Lincoln, your hometown dealer located on 119 near Chapmanville. Go Thornhill and expect the best with total value, support, and savings on your next vehicle. Don't miss out. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and thornhillford.com.
And we're back, and we started a little sooner than what we anticipated, and the first pitch is a strike. The batter is Sennett, and the next pitch is swung on and fouled back. Brittany Sennett will lead things off for Washington here in the top of the first inning. So it's 0-2 the count to Sennett. And the 0-2 offering, and that'll be low for ball one. It'll be Sennett, Burns, and Nolan, the top three hitters for Washington. The middle three are Crowder, Ruffin, and the bottom three are Cave, Sedlock, and Dobson. The 1-2 pitch is a low for a ball. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2 offering is swung on. That ball is hit to left field, and that'll be a base that is caught. For the out. So 1 up and 1 down. The fly out to left field. It'll be Samantha Burns to take ball 1. 1-0 the count to Samantha Burns. Summer Burns, I beg your pardon. And the pitch swung on and fouled back. So 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, top of the first inning. And the hitter is Summer Burns for Washington. And the 1-1 offering swung on and missed. The count goes to 1-2. And here comes the 1-2 offering. And that's swung on and missed, strike 3. So that's 2 up and 2 down for Washington. And Nolan will be the hitter.
In the batter's box, number 5,
Camden Nolan hitting from the right-hand side of the plate with nobody on and 2 outs here in the top of the first inning. The pitch is swung on, a comebacker to the pitcher. She's able to fill it, flip it to first, and it's a 1-2-3 first inning. Middle of the first inning, it's Washington nothing and John Marshall coming to bat. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Softball Tournament here on the NFHS Network and Video Productions.
General Stores knows West Virginia, but what some may not know is what LG is doing in your communities. And I'm here to tell you how Little General, with the strength of their 100-plus stores, is helping to enrich lives and empower families in West Virginia. Like the Norma May Huggins Cancer Research Endowment Fund, which is fighting to cure cancer every day right here in West Virginia. Locally owned and operated, LG has always been there and always will be. Little General Stores, committed to West Virginians. Boom!
At Tudor's Biscuit World, we use the freshest ingredients in our made-from-scratch biscuits. The Biscuit and Gravy Platter. Hot and fresh biscuits, made from scratch gravy. Now that's a meal, served all day long, and only available at Tudor's Biscuit World.
Geno's introduces the Big Cheese, our supersized pizza piled high with extra cheese for only $9.99. A blend of 3 different cheeses, mozzarella, parmesan, and provolone. Try Geno's Big Cheese Pizza for only $9.99.
And we welcome you back to South Charleston as we go to the bottom of the first inning between Washington and John Marshall. Today's game is brought to you in part by Paul Espinoza, by Paul Espinoza Delicate, as he wishes all the teams the best of luck and here in this 2021 Girls State Softball Tournament. So the first 3 hitters are Blake, Kunitz, and Wise for John Marshall. Ava Blake, the shortstop for the Monarchs, steps in from the right-hand side of the plate, and the pitch is over for a called strike. The 0-1 delivery, swung on and missed, strike 2. 0-2 the count. And the 0-2 delivery. That's a little high for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes. So 1-2 the count to Ava Blake. And the 1-2 offering. That's high and outside. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2 offering. Called strike 3. So Blake is out on strikes. That's the first out of the inning. And with 1 down, Shelby Kuntz, the center fielder for John Marshall, will now be the batter. Kuntz is ready. And here's the first pitch to her, and that's high, ball 1. This is an elimination game. The loser of this is out. The winner will play tomorrow morning at 9:45 against the loser between Cabell Midland and St. Albans. Here's the 1-0 pitch, and that'll be low for ball 2, 2-0. So here's the 2-0 offering. And that's on the inside corner for a called strike, and the count goes to 2-1. So 2-1 the count here in the bottom of the first inning. And the 2-1 delivery is high for ball 3. So it's 3-1 to Shelby Kuntz with Tessa Wise on deck. And here's the 3-1 delivery, swung on and fouled. The count goes full to 3-2. So the count's full, 3-2 to Kuntz, and here comes the payoff pitch. And that's swung on, and that is popped foul out of play over the first base dugout. So we'll do it again. Full count, 3-2. And ready for the payoff pitch again. Here it comes. That's swung on and fouled back again. We'll do it one more time. The sun coming through. There was a lot of rain in this South Charleston area early in the morning, and they were delayed from 9:45 to 10:45 for the first game this morning, and pretty much throughout the day kind of cool, but the sun has fought its way through the clouds. And here comes the payoff pitch, swung on. This is lined into left field. That's a base hit. It gets past the left fielder. The ball will roll to the corner. It's got at least a double, and they get the ball back in, and it will be a one-out double. It's the ball down into the left field corner by Kuntz. So that's the first hit of the ball game, a one-out double. And Wise, the pitcher for John Marshall, will now be the hitter with a runner at second and the one out. So Tessa Wise trying to help her own cause and see if she can drive in a run and get on the board. Both of these teams were shut out in the earlier game. John Marshall was shut out 3-0 to St. Albans, and Washington was shut out to Cabell Midland. As here's the pitch, and it's outside, ball one. So Kuntz, the runner at second, who got the double, and the pitch to Wise is swung on and fouled back. So the count even up, 1 ball, 1 strike. There's one out with a runner at second, and we're in the bottom of the first inning. And what's turned out to be a very, very pleasant evening here in South Charleston. So here's the 1-1 offering coming to Wise, and here it comes. And that'll be low for ball 2. Count goes to 2-1. Tessa Wise set, waiting on the pitch. The 2-1 offering swung on and missed. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And the 2-2 delivery. That's outside. Count goes full, 3-2. Wise making the young lady for Washington work. So we got a payoff pitch coming. And it's on its way. And that's swung on. And that's a little blooper coming into center fielder. She dives. She makes the catch for the second out. The runner from second tags to third, and she slides in safely. So that's the second out, but it's a productive out because she does move the runner over, and that's a sacrifice fly. And that'll be the second out of the inning. So with 2 outs, Pettit will now be the hitter. Candace Pettit, the shortstop for John Marshall.
Your next batter is number 12, Candace Pettit.
So 2 out and a runner at third. Trying to break through and get the first run of the game. Pitch is swung on, missed. It was about a half swing. The count is 0-1. Here's the 0-1 delivery. That's a nice pitch right across the plate. 0-2. So 0-2 the count to Pettit. Catcher sets up outside. Here comes the 0-2 offering. That's way outside. Goes to 1-2. Looks like they might have had some kind of play on there where the catcher to set up as far as she did outside. So the 1-2 pitch. And that's close, but just a tad off the plate, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. we haven't seen very many runs. In fact, in the two games, 4 runs total in the 2 games. So runs are sure hard to come by, and this pitch is swung on and fouled. That's why I know it's early in the game, but that's a big base runner out there on third with 2 outs. And I know we're only in the first inning. But when you haven't scored in your previous game, you see if you can dent the scoreboard. Here's a fly ball hit to left field. Going back to the left fielder, it's turned. She won't get it. That will be an RBI double. And John Marshall is on the board as they take a 1-0 lead as a 2-out hit by Pettit. So they've got 2 hits in the inning, 2 doubles, and they dent the scoreboard for the first time in this girls' state tournament as Kuntz will come around to score. And John Marshall takes a 1-0 lead. So Dory Kins will now be the hitter. And the pitch to Kins, it's outside, ball 1. Kins was the cleanup hitter in the first game. They've slid her back a slot to the number 5 hitter for this game. And it's a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning for John Marshall. Here's the pitch to Kins, and that's outside. And that'll be ball 2. So a big 2-out hit by Pettit delivers a run, and she's down at second. And here's the pitch, swung on, and this is going to be fouled back out of play. Count will go to 2 balls and 1 strike. So John Marshall able to break through first and lead 1-0 here in the bottom half of inning number 1. And the 2-1 offering. And that will be low for ball 3. 3-1 to Dory Kins. Have a little conference on the mound. The umpire going out now to break it up. What's turned out to be a beautiful evening here at Little Creek Park in South Charleston. Elimination game between Washington and John Marshall. John Marshall's broken through with a run here in the inning. The 3-1 offering is swung on, fouled back, and the count will go full. So this is the 3rd hitter this inning that the pitch count has gone full. Two doubles in the inning for John Marshall has produced a run. Here's the 3-2 offering again, and this is fouled back as well. So we'll do it one more time. So we're all set. Here comes the 3-2 pitch again. That's swung on and missed, strike 3. But John Marshall gets a couple of hits. They leave a runner. They do score a run. And after 1, your score is John Marshall 1, Washington nothing. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA softball tournament on the NFHS Network and Video Productions.
High school sports fans, relive your favorite moments. Just click the shopping cart below the video player and select DVD or digital copy to get yours today.
Starting the second inning, here's a pitch, and it's fouled. Leading things off is Carly Crowder, as today's game is brought to you in part by Delegate Paul Espinoza. Paul Espinoza wishing the best of luck to all the teams participating in the 2021 state softball tournament. And here's the pitch, and that's high and outside. So the count's 1 ball and 1 strike to Carly Crowder leading things off. It's the 4th, 5th, and 6th hitter for Washington here in the 2nd inning. And the pitch is high and outside. The count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. Here's the 2-1 pitch, swung on. That ball's fouled down the right field line. Count evens to 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's Crowder, Ruffin, and Ruffin, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters here in the 2nd inning for Washington. And here's the 2-2 offering. And that's outside for ball 3, and we're full count. John Marshall able to push a run across in the 1st inning to take a 1-0 lead as Washington hits here in the 2nd inning. And the payoff pitch to Crowder is swung, and that's a little blooper, and it's going to get through into right field, and that's going to be a hit. The ball went right in between 1st and 2nd base. Just a little soft kind of a number, and it works out, and it is a hit. And that's the first hit of the ball game for Washington. So we take a look at the replay. You can see just right kind of where they always say, hit it where they ain't. And that's kind of what happened on that play. Yeah, I don't know if you could hit it any softer and get on. And that's the main thing. Here's now an bunt attempt, and the pitch is fouled by Maddie Ruffner. It'll be 0-1. And I know runs have been so hard to come by. That's why we've seen a lot when you get a leadoff person on, you have somebody try to sacrifice it. But this is your 5th hitter in the lineup. Sometimes you wouldn't think that the 5th hitter would be sacrificing, and that time she doesn't square the bunt, and the pitch is high. It's 1 ball, 1 strike. So Crowder leads off the inning with a single, a little kind of bloop single to right. Here's a square to bunt, and she bunts it foul, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Maddie Ruffin. So 1-2 the count. Meg Ruffin on deck. And the 1-2 offering to Maddie Ruffin is swung on and fouled down the 3rd baseline. Count will hold at 1-2. And here comes the 1-2 delivery. The second on the ball getting by the catcher and get into scoring position with nobody out here in the 2nd inning. And the 2-2 pitch swung on. That ball slapped down the third baseline. Is gotten by the 3rd baseman and makes a nice throw to get the out at first. But the runner, Crowder, advances from 2nd to 3rd, and now with 1 out, it'll be Meg Ruffin hitting with a runner at 3rd and, as I mentioned, 1 down. So Megan Ruffin will hit. Crowder at 3rd, 1 down. John Marshall leading Washington 1-0. Washington with a tying run just 60 feet away. The pitch is low, ball 1. Here comes the 1-0 delivery. Swung on. That ball's hit past the shortstop into left field. That's a base hit, and that'll tie the game. So we're even at 1 apiece. That's an RBI single by Meg Ruffin. And she delivered with a solid base hit to left field. So we're all knotted up, as you can see the replay there. So Cave is now the hitter, and it's a called strike. Morgan Cave. And the pitch. That gets by the catcher, and that allows the runner to advance, and the catcher's hurt. I think it hit her a little bit. She's not moving too good. And they've called time, but that's the 2nd time that the ball has gotten by the catcher, and that will allow the runner to advance. So the count is 2-0. Actually, I said it was 2-0. That actually counts 1-1, and the pitch is inside. 2-1's the count. So 2-1 is the count on Cave with the runner at second in a 1-1 game. And the 2-1 offer, she squares the bunt. She lays it down. It is fair. The third baseman just picked the ball up. She wasn't sure what to do with it. And now we've got a play that is going to allow Washington to score as on a bunt. Here comes a play at the plate. She's going to score. It's amazing. A bunt that went about 6 feet was able to produce 2 runs. And we have to watch the replay of this, because the third baseman thought the ball was foul, and they immediately called it fair. And it's a 3-1 lead, as Sedlock is now the hitter.
To the plate now, number 6, Anna Sedlock.
So we'll see how we score that. There was definitely an error on the throw that allowed the runner to go all the way around. But they've plated 3 this inning. Sedlock is at the plate and counts 1-1. And the 1-1 offering is swung on. This is a little popper coming in as the second baseman just popped up right over the pitcher's mound. The second baseman comes in and makes the play for the second out of the inning. So there's 2 outs, and Allie Dotson will now be the hitter. As we watch the replay there. But 3 runs across the plate here in the second inning for Washington, and they've taken the 3-1 lead. Pitch is outside, ball 1. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Count leaving up at 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 offering, and that's outside for ball 2. Two and 1 the count. And the 2-1 pitch swung on. That ball's hit to left field. Going back is the left fielder. She won't get it. The ball will go over her head. It'll go all the way to the wall. That's at least 2. Now going for a triple. She slides in and she's safe. So that's a triple, a 2-out triple by Allie Dotson. And that's the 3rd hit in the inning for Washington. And they've already plated 3 runs. And they lead in the game 3-1 of this elimination game. And now we'll go back to the top of the order. I think we're going to have maybe a pitching change here. Yeah, we want to relook at the play on the bunt. The bunt is called fair. The third baseman that picks it up holds the ball, didn't really know what to do with it, finally threw it to first. And after she threw it to first, the girl from first, I guess, turned the wrong way. She threw it to the pitcher. It was mass confusion by John Marshall in the field on that play. She threw it to the pitcher, and the pitcher threw the ball out in the outfield, which would have been an error there at second base when she threw the ball behind the second baseman. like I said, it's not something that you see every day. That's for sure. As we're back to the top of the lineup with Senate. So it is 3-1. And they have a runner at third with 2 down. But they've had 3 hits in the inning. Has Washington as Senate will bat. She's 0 for 1 in the game. She flied out to left field her first time up, and the pitch is low. It gets past the catcher, and that will allow another run to score. That's the 3rd time this inning that a ball's gotten past the catcher, and Dotson comes streaking home from third and put up the 4th run for Washington.
In the batter's box now for the Washington Patriots, number 2.
So it's a 4-1 lead for the Lady Patriots of Washington. Here's the pitch to Senate, and that's called strike. Count evens at 1-1. So the 1-1 pitch to Senate, that's outside for ball 2, 2-1. But Washington able to plate 4 runs here in this second inning. And the 2-1 offering coming out to Senate. And she squares the bunt, and it's inside for ball 3. I don't know if they're appealing, if they thought maybe she attempted as they asked the first base umpire, and he said no, she did not. So 3-1's the count to Senate, and a 4-1 lead for Washington here in the top of the second inning. And the pitch. That is low, ball 4. So Senate's aboard with a 2-out walk. And Summer Burns will now be the hitter. She's 0 for 1. She struck out back in the first inning. So Burns will be the 8th hitter to come to the dish here in this second inning. And the pitch swung on and fouled back. Count goes to 0-1. So ready. And here comes the 0-1 delivery to Burns. Swung on and missed, strike 2. So 0-2 the count. And here comes the 0-2 offering to Burns. And that's outside. Ball 1 will be 1-2. And the 1-2 swung on. This ball's punched through for a base hit to right field. Run around second, goes to third, the throw, and she's going to be out at third. And that will end the inning. And you never want to make the final out at third. And I'm not sure what they're saying. She looked like she definitely tagged her. So they're going to say that the shortstop interfered with the runner, and that will continue the inning and make it first and third. And the inning gets worse for John Marshall as the 9th hitter will come to the dish here in this second inning. As we watch the replay, as the base runner around second ran into the shortstop and they called interference, and that's why they allowed the runner to get third base. So there's been 4 hits in the inning. And just not very good defense in this second inning. 5 hits in the inning. 5 total. And this is a little blooper. The shortstop's got it, and now the inning will finally end as Washington sends 9 hitters to the dish. They score 4 runs, and in the middle of the second inning, it's Washington 4 and John Marshall 1 as you're watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA softball tournament on the NFH Network and Video Productions. So that makes 5 hits then. I know there was an error on the play. And we welcome you back here to South Charleston as Washington has put up a 4 spot in the second inning to lead John Marshall 4-1. West Virginia teams are changing the game. West Virginia Game Changer is a innovative design and to educate, support, and empower our youth and make healthy choices as they prepare to be the leaders of tomorrow. All seasons lawn and landscape, whether you need help in landscaping or you need a perfect manicured lawn. All Seasons Lawn and Landscaping. All Seasons Lawn and Landscaping is a proud supporter of the girls' state softball tournament and the Ritchie County Lady Rebels. As we go here to the bottom of the second inning, leading things off will be A.C. Cumbridge, and she fouls off the first pitch 0-1. Next pitch swung on and missed for strike 2. And the 0-2 offering. This is a little pop-up to the second baseman. Second baseman able to make the easy play, make the catch, and that's the first out of the second inning. As Sophie Atkins will step to the dish. CBS Equipment has over 30 years of experience in the mining industry and is committed to supply mining companies with reliable and quality equipment as well as top-notch customer service. CBS Equipment is a proud supporter of the 2021 Girls State Softball Tournament and wishing also the Independence Patriots the best of luck in Class AA. Here's the pitch to Atkins, and I think she went around, and did she? Nope. They'll call it a ball. It'll be 2-0. We're in the bottom of the second, and a 4-1 Washington lead. And the pitch, that's high for a ball. So 3-0 the count to Atkins, the center fielder for John Marshall. The 3-0 offering, and that's called a strike, and the count goes to 3-1. John Marshall got a run in the first. Washington pushed 4 across in the second. We're in the bottom of the second now. 4-1's the score. Squaring to bunt, and it'll be ball 4, and that'll be a 1-out walk to Atkins. So Mangino will now be the hitter. Sam Mangino will step in. And the pitch is ball 1. No, actually it's called a strike. Took a little while for the umpire to decide what that was. So 0-1 the count to Mangino, and the 0-1 delivery. She squares to bunt. The pitch is high. The runner takes off to steal. The ball is dropped and goes out into the outfield, but the runner is safe at second, but will not be able to advance. But the young lady there for Washington closed her glove a little too soon. Had she held on to that, they more than likely would have definitely got the runner out. But it'll go as a stolen base, and Atkins is safe at second. So they're taking a look at the young lady. Atkins out at second. So the count is 1-1. So Mangino hits from the right-hand side of the plate. It comes the 1-1 offering, and that's high and outside for ball 2. Two and 1 the count to Joey Mangino. The 2-1 offering is outside for ball 3. It's 3-1. So 3-1's the count. Mangino choking up just a bit on the bat. And here comes the 3-1 delivery. And that's right down the pipe for a called strike. Counts full at 3-2. So here comes the payoff pitch, 3-2, and that's outside for ball 4. And that's the second walk this inning. And John Marshall's got something cooking with 2 on and 1 out. And Kylie Ward will be the hitter. We will have a designated runner at first base for John Marshall. Let's see who the designated runner is for John Marshall at first base. Peyton Tucker will be the designated runner. Got a little meeting on the mound there. 2 on, 1 out, and a 4-1 game. And the game is being brought to you in part by Delegate Paul Espinoza. And he wishes the best of luck to the Washington Patriots here in this girls' state softball tournament, and wishing the best of luck to all the teams in the 2021 state tournament. So with 2 on and 1 out, 4-1 game in favor of Washington. John Marshall trying to get back in it. And here's the pitch is outside, ball 1. Kylie Ward, the second baseman, is the hitter. It's 1-0. She's the 9th hitter in the lineup. And the 1-0 delivery. Oh, that almost hit her. That's in tight. And the runners advance. There's a throw down to third. And they called her out. So caught stealing at third. That's a big out and a big play in this game. The second out of the inning is Atkins is out at third. And Peyton Tucker, who's in to run for Mangino, advances to second. And the count is 2-0 to Ward. And here comes the 2-0 offering. And that's over for a called strike. The count is 2-1. So that was a very big play for Washington, able to throw out the runner going to third as the next pitch is down low for a ball. 3-1 the count. So 3-1 to Ward with now 2 out. But they do have a runner in scoring position at second in the 3-1 offering, and that's over for a called strike. The count's full at 3-2. So we're all set for the payoff pitch, and here it is, and that's high for ball 4. And runners are at first and second. So that's the third walk of the inning. And runners are at first and second with 2 down. And we'll go back to the top of the order. And it'll be Ava Blake, the hitter. 0 for 1 in the game, struck out back in the first inning. And the pitch to her is swung on and missed for strike 1. So here's Blake. Swung on and missed, strike 2. So Ava Blake in the hole at 0-2. With 2 on and 2 out. And Washington leads John Marshall 4-1. The 0-2 pitch swung on. It's a little blooper right over the head of the second baseman into center field. That'll drop for a hit. Here's a throw to the plate. Not in time. 1 run will score, and the runners will move up. So that's a hit, and runners are at third and second, and now the score is 4-2. So that's an RBI single for Blake. And Peyton Tucker will score the second run. And on the throw home, Blake able to get second. This ball's fouled out of play by Kuntz. Kuntz had a double and scored back in the first inning. She's 1 for 1. So John Marshall able to cut into the lead. They've cut it to 4-2. And here's the pitch. Swung on. This is a little slow roller to the shortstop. Shortstop picks it up, makes the play to first, and they retire the side. But in the inning, a run does score for John Marshall. And after 2, your score is Washington 4, John Marshall 2, as you are watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Softball Tournament on the NFHS Network and Video Productions.
Biscuit World, we use the freshest ingredients in our made-from-scratch biscuits. The Biscuit and Gravy Platter. Hot and fresh biscuits, made from scratch gravy. Now that's a meal, served all day long, and only available at Tudor's Biscuit World.
Geno's introduces the Big Cheese, our supersized pizza piled high with extra cheese for only $9.99. A blend of 3 different cheeses, mozzarella, parmesan, and provolone. Try Geno's Big Cheese Pizza for only $9.99.
Did you know that up to 50% of the air you breathe in your home is the air that comes through your basement? A wet, damp basement can be a real problem that can worsen asthma and allergies, affect your indoor air quality, and damage your valuables. Alford Home Solutions will transform your basement into a dry, usable space and improve the air quality in your entire home. Protect your family today. Visit alfordhomesolutions.com for a free estimate.
We welcome you back to South Charleston. The line score, Washington, 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. And John Marshall with 2 runs, 3 hits, and an error as we go to the top of the third inning. And leading things off in the top half of the third inning will be Carly Crowder, the number 4 hitter. 4, 5, and 6 due up here for Washington here in inning number 3. The top half of the inning in a 4-2 Washington lead. The pitch swung on. This ball's hit to the third baseman, picks it up, takes her time, makes the throw across the diamond to record the out. It was a nice play by the third baseman over there for John Marshall. And Crowder is retired as she's the first out of the third inning. She grounds out to third. So Maddie Ruffner will be the hitter. And she'll bat with 1 out, nobody on, and the pitch is outside, ball 1. Maddie Ruffner to be followed by Meg Ruffner. And here comes the 0-1 offering. That's outside. Count evens at a ball of strike. So 1-1 the count. And here's the 1-1 to Maddie Ruffner. ready, on its way, and that's way high, and it's ball 2, 2-1. So there's one out, nobody aboard. This is an elimination game. The winner will survive to play another day and play at 9:45 tomorrow morning. For the loser, their season's over. And here comes the 2-1 pitch. And that's outside for ball 3. Actually, outside on the corner. And they'll call that a strike. I beg your pardon. That's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. That ball's hit foul down the third base line. And I wasn't umpiring on that play. The reason I said that, the umpire is, and I guess I need to wait, he's very deliberate when he calls a strike. So I got to wait a few seconds to see if it actually is a ball or a strike. And since he didn't call the strike right away, I naturally thought that it was a ball. So the count's 2-2. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. That swung on. That ball was sliced down the left field line. That's going to be out of play and foul. So we'll do it again at 2-2. So here comes the 2-2 offering to Maddie Ruffner. And on its way, that's outside for ball 3, and the count's gone full. So full count. And here comes the payoff pitch. On its way. And that's swung on. That ball's hit down the left field line. That will drop for a hit. So going the other way is Maddie Ruffner, and she gets a one-out single to left. And it'll be Meg Ruffner will be to the dish. She's 1 for 1, got a hit and scored back in the second inning.
Now at the plate, number 1, Meg Ruffner.
So here's Meg Ruffner with Maddie Ruffner at first and one out. Meg Ruffner will hit. Scored one of the 2 runs. One of the 4 runs, I should say. She squares the bunt, and it's called strike. They throw down to first, and the runner's back in safe. So here's the 0-1 offering. And that's high inside. The count was a 1 ball, 1 strike. And the 1-1 swung on and popped back toward the catcher, and she's able to make the play before the ball hit the fence, so that's an out. She fouls out, and that's a nice play by Mangino, the catcher. So that's the second out of the inning. And that will bring Megan Cave to the dish. Cave got a hit her first time up and scored a run. She'll bat with a runner on and 2 outs. And here's the pitch to her, and that's inside for ball 1. So 1-0 the count to Megan Cave. And the 1-0 offering. And that's outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count. And here's the 2-0 offering. And that'll be a called strike. Count goes to 2-1. And here comes the 2-1 pitch. That'll be a called strike, and the count will even at 2-2. If Cave can keep it alive, it'll be Sedlock with bat next. And here comes the 2-2 offering. On its way, and that's high and outside for ball 3. The count's gone full, 3-2. So we'll have the payoff pitch here. And here comes the 3-2 pitch. And that's called strike 3. So that's the end of the third inning for Washington. And we're in the middle of the third. It is 4-2 in favor of Washington over John Marshall as you are watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Softball Tournament on the NFSHS Network and Video Productions. And we welcome you back to Little Creek Park in South Charleston. I'm Maris Lowry. Your line score is Washington, 4 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors. John Marshall, 2 runs, 3 hits, and an error, as John Marshall bats here in the bottom half of the third inning. It'll be Wise, Pettit, and Kins that will be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters for John Marshall. And here's the pitch to Wise. Swung on. This ball's hit right back up the middle. The second baseman feels it, makes the play over to first. 1 pitch and 1 out here in the third inning. So Wise is retired for the second time. She grounds out to the second baseman, and with 1 out, Candace Pettit will be the hitter. She's 1 for 1. She doubled back in the first inning. And the pitch to her is high ball 1. So Pettit looks at ball 1 high. We're in the bottom of the third inning. Been an exciting game, a 4-2 Washington lead. Here's the 1-0 offering. That's high as well, ball 2. So 2 balls and no strikes to the shortstop for John Marshall, Candace Pettit. And the 2-0. That's over for a called strike, 2-1. 2-1 the count. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's a nice looking pitch, also called a strike, and the count evens at 2-2. The 2-2 pitch swung on and fouled back. Count will hold at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're in the home half of the third inning. 4-2 Washington lead. Washington got all 4 of their runs in the second and a run each in the first and second innings by John Marshall. And the pitch swung on. This is popped foul and back out of play. Count will hold again at 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and here's the 2-2 offering. And that's high for ball 3. The count's gone full. So we'll have the payoff pitch coming up. And the 3-2 pitch. Swung on, and that's it, foul down the third baseline. So we'll do it again. Three balls and 2 strikes. 1 out. The bottom of the third inning. And the payoff pitch on its way. And that is ball 4. So Pettit draws a walk, a 1-out walk. That is the 4th walk that Washington has issued. And it'll be Dory Kins to come to the plate. She struck out her first time up. And we have a designated runner. And Alyssa McLaughlin will be the designated runner. As Dory Kins steps to the dish. And the pitch. Swung on. This ball was hit in the air, just out of the edge of the grass there at the shortstop position, able just to go back in right off the edge of the grass at shortstop and make the catch for the 2nd out of the inning. So there's 2 out.
Watch what I'm talking about.
And this will bring up AC Cumbridge. And the pitch is a called strike, 0-1. So 0-1 the count to Cumbridge. And the pitch. A odd bounce and roll into foul ground. That's going to be a double. Here comes the runner all the way around to score. There was no play at the plate, and that's going to be an RBI double. And John Marshall has trimmed the lead to 4-3. So that's a double all the way. And John Marshall has pushed a run across. They've got a run in each inning. And Atkins is now the batter. 0-1 the count to her. Sophia Atkins and the pitch. That bounces in the dirt. Count evens at 1-1. Atkins walked last time up. And here comes the 1-1 pitch to her. And that's swung on and missed for strike 2. 1-2 the count. So we got a 4-3 game. Washington got all 4 runs in the second, and John Marshall has pushed a run across in the first, the second, and now here in the third. And potentially could tie the game as they have a runner in scoring position out there at second base. And this pitch is tipped, fouled back, and Atkins will stay alive. 1-2 the count with 2 outs. So Atkins is ready, and here comes a 1-2 pitch to her. This ball swung on, and it's a foul ball down the third base line. As we watch the replay. The ball clearly foul, but boy, if that would have stayed fair, that would have been damage. It went all the way down the line. And the pitch is a ball, so the count will even up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. If Atkins can keep it alive, Mangino would bat next. And the 2-2 pitch. That'll be ball 3. Count's gone full. So 3-2 the count. We'll have a payoff pitch here to Sophie Atkins. And the pitch. That's swung on and fouled. We'll do it again. So Atkins gets set, and she awaits the 3-2 pitch. Here it comes, and it's called strike 3. So that ends the inning, but there's a run pushed across from John Marshall, and at the end of 3, it's Washington 4, John Marshall 3. You're watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Softball Tournament on the NFHS Network and Video Productions.
First set of wheels didn't come with complications or strings or hassles. It can be that way again. Tire Pros. Hassle-free, guaranteed.
And we welcome you back in. Going to the top of the 4th inning in this 4-3 game. Washington in front of John Marshall. And West Virginia teens are changing the game. West Virginia Game Changer is designed to educate, support, empower our youth to make healthy choices as they prepare to be our leaders of tomorrow. So it will be the 8th and 9th and back to the top of the order hitters for Washington here in the inning. And it'll be Anna Sedlock. And the first pitch to her is ball 1. Sedlock, Dodson, and Sennett, the 3 hitters here for Washington here in the top half of the 4th inning. This pitch is high and inside, and the count goes to 2-0. Sedlock is 0 for 1 as she popped out to the third baseman, her other attempt at the plate. And there's a called strike, her other time that she came to bat. So she's 0 for 1 in the ball game. And it's 2-1 is the count to her now. So here comes the 2-1 pitch to Sedlock. And that's over for a called strike. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And here comes the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, this ball was hit to third base. It's fair. The third baseman fields it, makes the throw across the diamond to record the out. That was a nice play, and that's the first out of the inning. See if we do, as we watch the replay. Nice play by the third baseman. Right on the bag, and makes the throw, and a nice stretch by the first baseman to get that out. So 1 out. Here in the Washington 4th inning, and Allie Dotson will be the hitter. She tripled and scored her last time up. She's 1 for 1, and this pitch is outside, ball 1.
From the box now, number 21, Allie Dotson.
So 1-0 the count to Allie Dotson. And here comes the 1-0 pitch. And that's over for a called strike. The count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. After Dotson, we'll go back to the top of the order with Sennett. And here comes the 1-1 pitch to Dotson. And that's over for a called strike. The count's 1-2. So Allie Dotson in the hole at 1-2. And here comes the 1-2 pitch on its way. Swung on and missed, strike 3. So 2 up, 2 down. And we'll now go to the top of the order, and it'll be Brittany Sennett. She flied out in the first inning and drew a walk in the second, so she's 0 for 1. So she'll bat with 2 outs. Nobody on. Here in the top of the 4th. And the pitch to Sennett is over for a called strike, 0-1. For the winner, they will play tomorrow at 9:45. For the loser, their season is over. And here comes the 0-1, and that's high, and the count evens 1 ball, 1 strike. At the conclusion of this game, 30 minutes thereafter, we will have the game between Cabell Midland and St. Albans. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. On its way, swung on and fouled. The count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Brittany Sennett. If she can keep it alive, Summer Burns would hit next. And the 1-2 to Sennett. Swung on. That ball's going to be fair, and it gets down for a base hit, and it gets past the right fielder. It'll roll all the way to the corner. There's at least a double and maybe a triple, and it's going to be a triple as Sennett comes in standing up at third. That was a nice play right down the right field line, a nice hit, and a triple for Sennett. So a 2-out hit. And now that will bring Summer Burns to the dish. She's 1 for 2, struck out in the first and got a hit back in the second. So here's Burns. And the pitch swung on and fouled back. So there was 2 out, nobody on, and then you get a triple here from Sennett, and now Burns with the chance to drive in. Drive in another run and give a little bit more breathing room for Washington to try to open up, a 2-run lead if she can deliver on a base hit here. And the pitch. That's going to be low for ball 1. The count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike. So 1-1 the count. And here comes the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, fouled back, out of play. Perhaps that made it to the other field. Like I said, these fields here at South Charleston, they're a great facility, but they're very close together, and easily a foul ball, especially when you're playing all the games at the same time, a foul ball in one field could easily end up on another field. So the count is 1-2 to Burns, and here comes the 1-2 pitch. That's swung on and missed, strike 3. So Sennett gets stranded at third. They get the 1 hit, they leave 1. In the middle of the 4th inning, the score remains 4-3 in favor of Washington as you are watching a live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Softball Tournament on the NFH Network and Video Productions. welcome back into South Charleston as we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. And Washington leading John Marshall 4-3 in this elimination game. It'll be the 8th, 9th, and then back to the top of the order here for John Marshall's. Mangino leads off and takes a called strike at 0-1. It'll be Mangino, Ward, 8-9, and then back to the top of the order, Blake. Mangino walked and scored last time up, or the courtesy runner for her scored, as she swings and misses at that to make it 0-2. So 0-2 the count, and the 0-2 pitch, and that's high for ball one. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Mangino. A 4-3 lead for Washington in this elimination game, and the next pitch swung on and missed, strike 3, so Mangino is out on strikes, and that's the first out of the fourth inning. So 1 out. And that'll bring up Kylie Ward, who drew a base on ball back in the second inning. And the pitch to Ward. And that's called ball one. And the 1-0 pitch to Ward. That's inside for ball two. 2-0 the count. So 2-0 to Ward. And here's the pitch. And that'll be ball 3. So 3-0 to Kylie Ward, the second baseman for John Marshall. She walked the last time up. And she's looking at 3-0 here. I'm sure she's taking all the way. And she is, and it's a called strike for 3-1. So 3-1 the count on Kylie Ward. Ava Blake will hit next. 3-1 pitch, he squares to bunt. And it's a called strike, and the count goes full at 3-2. So here comes the payoff pitch on its way, swung on and fouled. Just got a little bit of that to stay alive. And the count will hold full at 3-2. And here comes the payoff pitch. That's swung on and missed, strike 3. So that's 2 up and 2 down, and both by way of the strikeout. And with 2 out and nobody on, Ava Blake will be the hitter. She struck out back in the first and got a hit in the second. She's 1 for 2. And here's the pitch. And that'll be ball 1. So here comes the 1-0 delivery. And that's high and inside for ball 2. If Blake can keep the inning alive, Kuntz would be next. We're in the bottom of the fourth inning of a 4-3 lead for Washington in this elimination game in this Class AAA state tournament. And the pitch is a called strike. The count is 2-1. The winner of this game will get the loser of Cabell Midland and St. Albans. And Cabell Midland St. Albans will play 30 minutes at the conclusion of this game, as the next pitch is over for a called strike, and the count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So here comes the 2-2 offering. Swung on, this ball is popped up, and it's in foul ground and making chase, but not going to be able to get to it out of play. Off to the left toward the Washington dugout. So the count will hold at 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Here's the 2-2. And that'll be ball 3. The count goes full to Blake. Ava Blake, the shortstop for John Marshall. And the payoff pitch is swung on. This is a little blooper right over the second baseman's head, right in front of the right fielder. That's really where you call it a hit it where they ain't, right in between the second baseman and the right fielder for a 2-out hit. That's her second hit of the ball game. So with 2 outs and Blake is aboard, Shelby Kuntz will be the batter. She's 1 of 2. Had a double and scored in the first and grounded out to the shortstop in the second. And the pitch to Kuntz gets away from the catcher. Here's a no throw at second, and going in safely will be Blake as she advances on the ball getting away from the catcher. So 1-0 the count to Kuntz. Tying run and scoring position now, as the pitch is called a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. So here comes the 1-1 to Shelby Kuntz. And that'll be ball 2. 2-1 the count. So here comes the 2-1 offering to Kuntz. That's swung on and missed. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So here's the 2-2. Did she go around? And they say that she did not. She held up her swing. The ball was outside and high. And the count's gone full to 3-2. So here comes the payoff pitch. And this ball swung and hit foul down the third baseline. That time Kuntz was really way out in front of that pitch. So we'll do the payoff pitch again, and this will be ball 4. So after 2 are out, the next 2 have reached, and runners are at first and second, and Wise will be the hitter, Tessa Wise. She's 0 for 2, flat out, and grounded out. And she'll hit with 2 on and 2 out. Trying to help her own cause here. The pitcher here for John Marshall. Here comes the pitch, and that's high, ball 1. The runners get their leads. Catcher runs the ball out, but then they walk back to the base. Got a little meeting there on the mound, and now I think the umpire is going to go out and break that up a little bit.
You'll have a crowd tomorrow, too.
So Wise will dig back in, 1-0 the count, 2 on, 2 out. And here's the pitch, and that'll be high for ball 2, 2-0. If Wise can keep it going, Pettit would hit next. There were 2 out, nobody on, and then Blake singled and Kuntz walked. And now it's first and second with 2 out. And here's the 2-0 pitch to Wise. And that's inside for ball 3. So 3-0. What looked like was going to be a very easy inning for Washington is now could become trouble. And here's the 3-0 pitch. And that's across the plate for a called strike, 3-1. So 3-1 the count. And here's the 3-1 offering. Swung on. That's a hit into left field. Then rounding third. Here comes the runner home. She will score. The game is tied, and after 2 outs and nobody was on, they've put together a little 2-out lightning, and now John Marshall has tied the game. They've got a single run in each of the first 4 innings, and we're all even at 4. As Tessa Wise helps her own cause with a solid single to left. And she delivers with a big 2-out hit. And Pettit will now be the hitter. She's got a double, walked, and scored a run. And we're all even at 4 apiece. Washington got all 4 of their runs in the second inning, and John Marshall has chipped away with 1 run each in these first 4 innings, and the game is tied at 4. Meeting at the mound as Pettit will now be the hitter. The umpire will go out and break up the meeting. Taking his time, though. So they break up the meeting. And after Mangino struck out and Ward struck out with 2 out, nobody on, Blake singled, Kuntz walked, and then Wise delivered a game-tying RBI single. And runners are at first and second with 2 out and a run in. The game is tied at 4. As Pettit comes to the dish, and the pitch is high, ball 1. So a little 2-out lightning going here for John Marshall to tie this game here in the 4th inning. And the 1-0. That's over for a called strike, and the count evens at 1 ball, 1 strike. 1-1 to Pettit. And here comes the 1-1 pitch. And that'll be a called strike. Count 1-2. Two on, 2 out. 1-2 the count to Pettit. A run in for John Marshall. They've tied the game. The 1-2 pitch. And that's a little high. The count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2-2 the count. And the 2-2 pitch. That's a little high, ball 3. Did she make an offer? They said she did. She went around, and they'll call that a strikeout. But John Marshall does tie the game as they push a run across in the 4th. And after 4, we're all even between Washington and John Marshall at 4 each, as you are watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA State Softball Tournament on the NFHS Network and Video Productions.
On field B, we have a tie score.
We welcome you back to South Charleston. I'm Maris Lowry here at South Charleston. The game tied at 4 between Washington and John Marshall. Today's game is brought to you in part by Delegate Paul Espinoza. Paul Espinoza want to wish the Lady Patriots and all the participating teams the best of luck in the 2021 Girls State Softball Tournament. CBS Equipment has over 30 years of experience in the mining industry and is committed to supplying mining companies with reliable and quality equipment as well as top-notch customer service. CBS Equipment is a proud supporter of girls softball and wishing the Lady Patriots from Independence the best of luck. So we're going to the 5th inning in a tie game at 4, and the first pitch is outside, ball 1. as this is Nolan leading things off. It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters up for Washington here in the top half of the 5th inning. So here's the pitch to Nolan. And that'll be over for a called strike. So here's the pitch to Nolan, the 1-1 pitch. That's outside. The count goes to 2-1. It'll be Nolan, Crowder, and Maddie Ruffner, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters up here in the top half of the 5th inning. Game tied at 4. And here comes the 2-1 offering. Swung on and fouled back, and we're all even at 2-2. This is an elimination game. For the loser, the season's over. The winner will play tomorrow morning at 9:45 against the loser of Cabell Midland and St. Albans. The Cabell Midland St. Albans game will take place 30 minutes at the conclusion of this game. And here comes the pitch. And that's swung on and missed, strike 3. And that's the first out of the 5th inning. So Nolan is out on strikes. And with 1 out and nobody on, it'll be Carly Crowder will be the hitter. She's 1 for 2. She's got a hit and scored a run and grounded out to third. So 1 of 2 for Crowder as she bats with 1 out, nobody aboard here in the 5th inning. And the pitch to Crowder swung on and missed, strike 1. And here comes the 0-1 to Crowder. That's outside. The count evens at a ball and a strike. We're in the 5th inning. Game tied at 4 of a scheduled 7-inning game. And here comes the 1-1 pitch. On its way. Swung on and fouled back. The count's 1-2. So Crowder in the hole, 1-2. And here comes the 1-2 offering. And that's called strike 3. So there's 2 out, nobody aboard. And Maddie Ruffner will be the hitter. She's 1 for 2, grounded out and got a hit. So with 2 out, nobody aboard, Ruffner will be the hitter. And the pitch swung on. That's hit to the shortstop. Shortstop will make the long throw across the diamond, and it'll be a 1-2-3 inning. And just like that, Washington is retired. Middle of the 5th inning, the game between Washington and John Marshall, even at 4, as you're watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA softball tournament on the NFHS Network and Video Productions.
Biscuit World, we use the freshest ingredients in our made-from-scratch biscuits. The Biscuit and Gravy Platter. Hot and fresh biscuits, made from scratch gravy. Now that's a meal, served all day long, and only available at Tudor's Biscuit World.
Geno's introduces the Big Cheese, our supersized pizza piled high with extra cheese for only $9.99. A blend of 3 different cheeses, mozzarella, parmesan, and provolone. Try Geno's Big Cheese Pizza for only $9.99.
Did you know that up to 50% of the air you breathe in your home is the air that comes through your basement? A wet, damp basement can be a real problem that can worsen asthma and allergies, affect your indoor air quality, and damage your valuables. Alford Home Solutions will transform your basement into a dry, usable space and improve the air quality in your entire home. Protect your family today. Visit alfordhomesolutions.com for a free estimate.
And we welcome you back to South Charleston. I'm Maris Lowry. As we got a 4-4 game going to the bottom of the fifth inning. Washington scored all 4 of their runs in the second inning, while John Marshall has scored 1 run in each of the first 4 innings as John Marshall comes to bat here in the fifth inning. So tied at 4, and for John Marshall, it'll be Dory Kins will lead things off. There'll be 5, 6, and 7 hitters. Kins, Crumpridge, and Atkins for John Marshall. So here's Dory Kins, and the first pitch is high ball 1. Kins struck out in the first inning, and she popped out the shortstop in the third. She's 0 for 2. And the 1-0 pitch, and that's ball 2. Beg your pardon, ball 3. 3-0 the count. So 3-0 the count. And the 3-0 pitch taken all the way over for a called strike. 3-1. So set, ready, and the 3-1 offering. Swung on. That ball was hit right back up the middle into center field for a base hit. So the leadoff man is aboard here for John Marshall here in the bottom of the fifth inning. And A.C. Cumbridge will now be the hitter. She popped out in the second and doubled back in the third. She's 1 for 2.
Will be number 17, A.C. Cumberland.
So the leadoff man on with nobody out here, and Cumbridge now the hitter. And Bailey will be the designated runner, or the courtesy runner, I guess would be the correct term maybe. Getting a little wind here at the ballpark. Here's a bunt laid down, fielded by the first baseman. Only plays to first. The sacrifice works. And they advance the runner into scoring position. So the sacrifice is the first out of the inning. And that'll bring Atkins to the dish. Sophia Atkins walked back in the second inning and struck out in the third. And first pitch 0-1. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and that's high for ball 1. We're in the home half of the fifth inning. John Marshall has never led in this game. Actually, they did. I beg your pardon. They led 1-0 in the first inning before they gave up 4 in the second. Trying to regain the lead here. And the pitch, squaring to bunt, and she pops it up. It'll be foul and out of play. So it'll be 1 ball and 2 strikes to Atkins with 1 out. They got a runner at second. Trying to regain the lead, John Marshall, in this 4-4 battle against Washington. Here's the pitch, swung on, and this will be fouled back out of play over the first base dugout. So 1-2 the count to Atkins, and here comes the pitch. Swung on, this ball is hit down the third base line, picked up by the third baseman. They make the throw to first to get the out, but on the play, the runner from second, which is Bailey, will move over to third. So with 2 outs, it'll be Mangino will be the hitter with a runner at third and trying to regain the lead for John Marshall. As we watch the replay. So we're going to have a pinch hitter. It'll be Maura Johnson will bat for Manjingo.
Next batter for the Monarchs, number 13, Maura Johnson.
So Johnson will get her first opportunity in this game at the dish with 2 outs and a runner at third, trying to regain the lead for John Marshall. In the pitch is outside, ball 1.
So you're off. Hey, Brian, would you turn Joe off on NFHS, please?
Here comes the pitch, swung on and missed. The count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. So 1-1 the count. This ball is hit foul. Out of play. And it's 1-2 to Johnson, the pinch hitter. She's hitting with 2 outs, a runner at third. And the 1-2 offering. That's high for ball 2. Count evens at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
How are you? Doing all right?
So we have a runner at third. And the pitch swung on and fouled back.
You'll be a baseball.
Oh, yeah. I'll be down there all week.
So counts 2-2 to Johnson, the pinch hitter. Trying to give John Marshall regain the lead. And there's called strike 3 on the inside corner. And we played 5 innings. And through 5, it's Washington 4, John Marshall 4. And you're watching live streaming of coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Softball Tournament on the NFHS Network and Video Productions.
Stores knows West Virginia. But what some may not know is what LG is doing in your communities. And I'm here to tell you how Little General, with the strength of their 100-plus stores, is helping to enrich lives and empower families in West Virginia. Like the Norma May Huggins Cancer Research Endowment Fund, which is fighting to cure cancer every day right here in West Virginia. Locally owned and operated, LG has always been there and always will be. Little General Stores, committed to West Virginians. Boom!
At Tudor's Biscuit World, we use the freshest ingredients in our made-from-scratch biscuits. The Biscuit and Gravy Platter. Hot and fresh biscuits, made from scratch gravy. Now that's a meal. Served all day long and only available at Tudor's Biscuit World.
Geno's introduces the Big Cheese, our supersized pizza piled high with extra cheese for only $9.99. A blend of 3 different cheeses, mozzarella, parmesan, and provolone. Try Geno's Big Cheese Pizza for only $9.99.
And we're back here in South Charleston as we're heading to the top half of the 6th inning in a 4-4 game. It'll be the bottom third up for Washington, and leading things off will be Cave. And the first pitch is swung on and missed for a strike, 0-1. It'll be Cave, Sedlock, and Dobson, the 7th, 8th, and 9th hitters up for Washington here in the top half of the 6th inning. The 0-1 delivery. And that's a called strike, and the count is 0-2. 0-2 to Cave. And here comes the 0-2 offering. Swung on, the ball sliced foul down the right field line into the crowd. Got a big contingent of folks right down that right field line in between the 2 ballparks, with the AA game going on right beside us here where we have the AAA game going on. So the count still holds at 0-2. 0-2 to Cave. And here comes the 0-2 pitch. And that's outside, ball 1, 1-2. Morgan Cave, the hitter.
Facebook or YouTube will start when you go live. But we got to. What time are you?
And here's the 1-2 pitch. That's inside. The count evens at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cave, leading off here in the 6th inning. And we're ready for the 2-2 pitch. Swung on, that ball sliced foul again down the right field line. Right into a big crowd gathering down that right field line. So here comes the 2-2. We'll do it again. And that'll be high and inside, and the count will go full, 3-2. We're at the top of the 6th inning in a 4-4 game. And here comes the payoff pitch to Cave. Swung on, and that's hit foul. A little dribbler down the third baseline. We'll do it again.
Ladies and gentlemen, please return any foul balls to the playing field. Please return any foul balls to the umpires on the playing field.
So the count is full. Cave leading things off here in the top half of the 6th inning. And the payoff pitch on its way. And that's called strike 3. So for the second time in the game, Cave is out on strikes. And with 1 out, it'll be Anna Sedlock.
Next batter for the Washington Patriots, number 15, Morgan Payne.
I beg your pardon. It is Cave batting now. I had her leading off, and she takes a called strike. The one that just struck out was Megan Ruffin, so I beg your pardon on that. And that was an error on my part. So Cave is at the dish now. Kind of lost my place in my scoring there. Pitch is outside, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. And here comes the 1-1. And that's high and outside. It goes to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. And here comes the 2-1 pitch to Cave. That's swung on. That's a little chopper to the shortstop, able to pick it up, make the throw across the diamond, and record the out. So that's 2 up and 2 down, and with 2 out and nobody on, it'll be Anna Sedlock will come to the dish.
Now making their way to the batter's box, number 6, Anna Sedlock.
Sedlock is 0 for 2, popped out to second baseman and grounded out to third. So Sedlock will bat with 2 out and nobody on. And the pitch will be over for a called strike. And the pitch swung on, fouled at the plate. He may have fouled it off her foot. She's a little shaken up there. And the count goes to 0-2. So 0-2 the count to Anna Sedlock. With 2 outs and nobody on here in the 6th inning and a 4-4 game. And the pitch swung on. This ball is hit out into right field. The right fielder's got a beat on it, up under it, makes the catch, squeezes it for an easy 1-2-3 inning. Middle of the 6th inning, we're still deadlocked at 4 between Washington and John Marshall as you're watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA softball tournament on the NFHS Network and Video Productions.
Boy, getting older is pretty stressful. Am I right, girls?
No kidding, Sandy. It seems like every morning I see a new driveway crack.
My deck sure isn't as level as it used to be.
You've got to keep up appearances, though, right?
You got that right.
It's time to stop worrying about your concrete problems. Give us a call today and rest easy tonight.
Coach Bob Huggins here at your local Little General store. As I travel this great state, it's nice to know that almost anywhere I go, there's a local Little General nearby. So the next time you're on the road, look for the Little General sign and tell them Hugs sent you.
Community Strong. We are Thornhill Ford Lincoln, your hometown dealer located on 119 near Chapmanville. Go Thornhill and expect the best with total value, support, and savings on your next vehicle. Don't miss out. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and thornhillford.com.
We welcome you back to Little Creek Park here at South Charleston. I'm Eris Lowry, going to the bottom of the 6th inning of this elimination game in this Class AAA Girls State Softball Tournament between Washington and John Marshall. All even up at 4 as John Marshall will hit here in the bottom of the 6th inning. So for John Marshall,
Leading off the home half of the 6th inning for the Monarchs, number 3, Alyssa McLaughlin.
So Alyssa McLaughlin will lead things off, and the first pitch to her is a called strike 0-1. She was just inserted into the game last inning. And the pitch is swung on and missed, and the count is 0-2.
Hey, Brian, you know you're only pushing 30 frames? Can't swap it now.
And the 0-2, that's high for ball 1. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Kill the lane.
The winner of this game will advance to play at 9:45 tomorrow morning. For the loser, their season's over. And we're in a tight one at 4-4 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. And here's the 1-2 pitch to McLaughlin, and that's a called strike 3. So there's the first out of the bottom of the 6th inning. And that will bring Ava Blake to the dish. So this will be Blake's 4th trip to the dish. He's 2 for 3, a strikeout and 2 hits, and this ball is popped up in the infield. Third baseman over right there, and snow cones it there for a minute. I wasn't sure the third baseman was going to hang on to it, but she's able to grab it for the 2nd out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 down in the John Marshall 6th inning. And Shelby Kuntz. Kuntz got a double and scored, grounded out the shortstop and walked. She's 1 for 2. And the pitch is ball 1. So here's the 1-0 pitch to Kuntz.
Are you going live? When are you going live?
And that'll be ball 2. 2-0.
Go live now. I don't want to lose your link, Facebook link.
So 2-0 the count on Kuntz. And here comes the 2-2 pitch, and that's swung on. That ball is hit to the third baseman. Third baseman charges and throws the ball low, but scooped out by the first baseman. It's a 1-2-3 inning here in the 6th, and we've gone 6 complete innings. with the score still tied at 4 as you're watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Softball Tournament on the NFH Network and Video Productions.
After 6,
I'm doing a couple things at once.
Washington Patriots 4.
General Stores knows West Virginia, but what some may not know is what LG is doing in your communities. And I'm here to tell you how Little General, with the strength of their 100-plus stores, is helping to enrich lives and empower families in West Virginia. Like the Norma May Huggins Cancer Research Endowment Fund, which is fighting to cure cancer every day right here in West Virginia. Locally owned and operated, LG has always been there and always will be. Little General Stores, committed to West Virginians. Boom!
At Tudor's Biscuit World, we use the freshest ingredients in our made-from-scratch biscuits. The Biscuit and Gravy Platter. Hot and fresh biscuits, made from scratch gravy. Now that's a meal, served all day long, and only available at Tudor's Biscuit World.
Geno's introduces the Big Cheese, our supersized pizza piled high with extra cheese for only $9.99. A blend of 3 different cheeses, mozzarella, parmesan, and provolone. Try Geno's Big Cheese Pizza for only $9.99.
And we welcome you back as we go to the 7th inning, as it'll be the 9 1-2 hitters up, as Dotson will lead things off for Washington. And first pitch is ball 1. Here comes the 1-0 delivery to Allie Dotson. And that'll be a called strike. The count evens to 1-1. Washington scored all 4 of their runs in the 2nd inning. John Marshall got 1 run in each of the first 4 innings. And for the last 2 innings, we haven't had anything. And we're tied at 4 here in the 7th inning. So here's the 1-1 pitch to Dotson. This ball swung on right back up the middle to the pitcher. Nice play by the John Marshall pitcher, able to make the play, flip it to first to record the out. So 1 up and 1 down in the Washington 7th inning. And coming to the dish, Brittany Sennett. She flied out in the first. She drew a walk in the second and got a triple in the 4th. So she's 1 for 2 as she bats here with 1 out, nobody on in the 7th inning. And the pitch swung on and fouled. Chop foul right there at the plate. 0-1 the count. So here comes the 0-1 offering to Sennett. And there it is. And that's going to be in for a ball. The count is 1 ball, 1 strike. So here comes the 1-1 pitch to Brittany Sennett. And that's way outside for 2-1. So 2 balls, 1 strike. And here comes the 2-1 offering to Sennett. Swung on. This ball may fall for a hit, and it will, right in front of the right fielder. Right fielder juggers the ball. Sennett's turning the corner, and she goes into second. That will definitely be a hit. I'm not sure if they'll score that a hit and an error, but it's definitely a hit. No question about that. And the fact she was able to advance, I think they will score that an error. But Sennett is aboard, and she got herself down into scoring position. And that's how they'll score that, a single and a fielding error on the right fielder for John Marshall. So it'll be Summer Burns will be the hitter. She's 1 for 3. She struck out twice. So looks like we're going to have a maybe a pinch hitter. It's Washington at the plate. And she turns around and squares the bunt. She lays it down. Good bunt. The only play is to throw it to first. It's slow. It's going to be an error, and a run's going to score. And the go-ahead run for Washington here in the 7th inning. They lay down. It will be a sacrifice and an error. And that will allow Senate to come around and score and give Washington the lead.
Now let's conduct for Washington, number 5, Camden Nolan.
Here's a base hit to right field. And that'll put runners at first and second. She rounds just second. She's out at second. She just kept going. They called her out at second. That is a very unique play. She just kept running. So that would be, I guess, a fielder's choice. And now have a runner at first with 2 out. But the go-ahead run has crossed the plate.
Now left the plate for the Patriots, number 7, Carly Crowder.
So Crowder is the hitter. And she takes low ball 1. Crowder's got a hit, scored a run, grounded out to third, and struck out. She's 1 for 3. But Washington has regained the lead, and they lead in the ball game 5-4. The pitch swung on, hit to the third baseman, picks it up, makes the throw across the diamond to record the out. But in the top half of the 7th, Washington pushes a run across the plate, and they take a 5-4 lead to the bottom of the 7th. As you're watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Softball Tournament on the NFHS Network and Video Productions. We welcome you back to here at South Charleston as we're going to the bottom of the 7th inning as Washington has regained the lead as they push a run across in the top of the 7th to take a 5-4 lead. So for John Marshall, they've got to get a run to keep their season alive. At least 1 run to keep their season alive. 2 runs will win the game. Well, we got a minute. Want to let you know that whether you need help with landscaping or you need the perfect lawn, all you need to do is get a hold of All Seasons Lawn and Landscaping. All Seasons Lawn and Landscaping are proud supporters of girls softball and the Ritchie County Lady Rebels. CBS Equipment has over 30 years of experience in the mining industry and is committed to supplying mining companies with reliable and quality equipment as well as top-notch customer service. CBS Equipment is a proud supporter of girls softball and also the Lady Patriots of Independence. So we're here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And Washington is 3 outs away from eliminating John Marshall. And leading things off will be Wise. It'll be the heart of the order, 3, 4, and 5 up. And Tessa Wise will take a called strike. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and that's high in the count, evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. So it'll be Wise, Pettit, and Kins, the 3 that are due up here for John Marshall here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And the pitch swung on and fouled, and the count is at 0-2. Make that 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tessa Wise, leading things off for John Marshall here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 5-4 lead for Washington, and here's the ball hit into shallow left field, and the shortstop goes back and drops it. So that's a big error, as that should have definitely been an out, and the shortstop drops the ball, and Wise is on first, safe, and E on the shortstop. Trying to close the game out. You can't give at any time you can't give teams extra out, but especially here in the bottom of the final inning, trying to close the game out here in the 7th inning. So Pettit now, she lays down a bunt. They pick it up, they throw it, they get the sacrifice, and they give them an out to move the runner over. So the sacrifice works, and Wise goes down to second in scoring position. So with one out, runner in scoring position, and Dory Kins will be the hitter. And the pitch is over for a called strike, 0-1. Here's the 0-1. Ball 2. I beg your pardon, ball 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that's high for ball 2, 2-1. Out at second, Wise represents the tying run. Kins at the plate represents the winning run. In the bottom of the 7th, with 1 out. Here comes the 1-1 pitch, and that's over for a called strike. The count's 1-2. Washington leading 5-4. And the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3 for the second out. So John Marshall's down to its final out. And A.C. Cumbridge will be the hitter.
Number 17, A.C. Cumberland.
And the pitch is swung on and fouled back. So Washington, if they can hang on here, they will advance to play at 9:45 tomorrow morning against the loser of St. Albans and Cabell Midland. John Marshall can tie it up. Then we'll keep playing. And the pitch swung on and missed. Strike 2. So John Marshall down not just to their final out, but now down to their final strike. And a 5-4 game. And here's the pitch. Swung on and missed, strike 3. The ball game's over. Washington gets the win by pushing a run across at the top of the 7th. Your final score is Washington 5, John Marshall 4. So John Marshall's season now will come to an end, and Washington will advance and play tomorrow morning at 9:45 against the loser of the next game, which is coming up in 30 minutes from now, which is Cabell Midland and St. Albans. Once again, final score is Washington with 5 runs, 7 hits, and 3 errors. John Marshall with 4 runs, 6 hits, and 3 errors. We'll come back and wrap it up if you're watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA Softball Tournament on the NFHS Network and video production.
Boy, getting older is pretty stressful. Am I right, girls?
No kidding, Sandy. It seems like every morning I see a new driveway crack.
My deck sure isn't as level as it used to be.
You've got to keep up appearances, though, right?
Well, you got that right.
It's time to stop worrying about your concrete problems. Give us a call today and rest easy tonight.
Coach Bob Huggins here at your local Little General store. As I travel this great state, it's nice to know that almost anywhere I go, there's a local Little General nearby. So the next time you're on the road, look for the Little General sign and tell them Hugs sent you.
Community Strong. We are Thornhill Ford Lincoln, your hometown dealer located on 119 near Chapmanville. Go Thornhill and expect the best with total value, support, and savings on your next vehicle. Don't miss out. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and thornhillford.com.
Welcome back here to South Charleston. I'm Maris Lowry, and the final score is Washington. They defeat John Marshall by the score of 5-4. The final line score was Washington, 5 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors. John Marshall, 4 runs, 6 hits, and 3 errors. And it was really a very exciting competitive game as John Marshall scored first. They got a run in the first inning to go up 1-0. Washington scored 4 in the second inning to go up 4-1. And then the second, third, and fourth inning, John Marshall got a run each to tie the game at 4. Neither team scored in the fifth or sixth inning. And in the top of the seventh inning, Washington able to push across a run and then hold John Marshall in the bottom of the seventh to win the game. Once again, final score, Washington over John Marshall by the score of 5-4. 5 runs, 7 hits, 3 errors for Washington. 4 runs, 6 hits, 3 errors for John Marshall. So what this means is that John Marshall has been eliminated. Their season is over. Washington will play tomorrow morning at 9:45, and they'll play the winner. Actually, they'll play the loser of this next game, which will start at 8:20 between Cabell Midland and St. Albans, and that'll be at 9:45. So that'll be our next game at 8:20. It'll be Cabell Midland and St. Albans at 8:20. You've been watching live streaming coverage of the 2021 Class AAA softball tournament on the NFHS Network and Video Productions.